Hi, Mars.
Hi, Mason.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. It's been a minute.
How's life treating you after graduation?
It's been a little weird. It's been a little weird being out of kind of the flow of classes and that kind of thing. But I found a job that I like, and it's nice having a little bit more free time. And it feels right to be graduated, even though it was a little strange at first. Mhm.
And it must be strange transitioning out of, because you used to be at the Wesley. We used to be interns.
Yeah, it's true. We were interns together.
We were interns together.
Yeah.
And now you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And you're here sometimes still, but less
Yes.
than you were.
Notably less.
Notably less. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for you to speak on that transition from campus ministry into quote unquote big church.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was weird for me because before I was in college, I had not been going to church for a hot minute for reasons I shall not get into now. But I got back into church through the Wesley. And so the habit of being here on Tuesday, and Tuesday being my church day, my big church day, was very familiar to me. I was in that for a lot of years. And so getting into the habit of switching the day that I was going to church was tricky to develop that habit, and also just like getting used to a different church space was it was a little scary at first, but I actually was able to, when I was still working at the Wesley and when I was active here, there were some folks that I had met. Particularly, I had met Pastor Jared Johnston. I don't remember if he was on the board at one point or if he was just around for whatever reason. But I met him through him coming to the Wesley for something and whatever it was. And then I got to know him and his family through that. And then, like, when he started a church, and then because I had connections to him, he had me come and do some worship stuff because I was doing worship stuff here. And so I got to know, like, the church that I end up going to now through, like, there was a connection from the Wesley directly to the church that I go to now. And that helped a lot. I think for me, as a queer person, as a visibly queer person, especially, it was really important for me to know that I was safe in my like home church, because that was one of the things that was so transformative about the Wesley for me, is that I finally felt like safe in my church space, and from that space of being safe, then I could grow and flourish. And so because I was able to find connection to the outside world or the outside church through the Wesley, I knew that I was safe already going into that space. And that was one of the things that I really love about the Wesley, is the connections that it has with the larger church.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, the major thing was knowing that I was safe, having that connection, and then stepping into that place and being like, oh, I'm safe here. It's a new space, but I can navigate it knowing that I'm safe, and then from there I can kind of get used to it and get into it. And I feel like I've really found my own space in the church now.
Nice. Mm-hmm. What advice do you have for queer people who are interested in going to church and navigating, like, finding a space that is safe for them?
Yeah, for sure. I would say I would recommend, like, if you know any other queer Christians, I would recommend talking to them about what places they go to or things like that. If you don't, sorry, first of all, because it sucks to be a queer Christian alone. But also, like, if there's any churches that have rainbow flags, things like that, that always helps. There's also some, like, directories online of, like the Reconciling Ministry Network is a great resource, or you can just, like, Google like LGBTQ affirming or open and affirming churches near me, and, like, find churches through that. I will say also, if you're really concerned about it, like, it never hurts to, like, just email the pastor or someone who works there and be like, hey, can we, like, sit down and have coffee sometime, or can I, like, come and talk to you beforehand because I'm nervous to go to this church because I'm queer and I'm nervous about coming. Y'all say that you're open and affirming. I want to like talk about it first. That is I have found to be really helpful. Just like if you are able to go to that church or go to someone who works at that church and have a very direct conversation about it, that is always a good sign for me. Because I feel like there are some churches that are like, oh, we welcome everyone, but we're not going to put a rainbow flag up, or it's like it's kind of the thing of like, if you can't directly say yes, we support like queer people, or if it comes with weird hesitation or things like that, it's okay for a church to not be for you.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't even necessarily mean that those are bad people or that it's a bad church. It just might not be the space for you, and that is okay.
Yeah, and it's okay to have to guard your heart also sometimes, because like when I'm in the Wesley and when I'm at my home church right now, I feel very safe, but like sometimes I go to other churches and I know that like I'm maybe not as safe there, not as like protected there, or not as just like welcomed there as I am in other spaces. And because not everyone has done the work, not everyone has the same opinions, which sucks. Not that everyone should have the same opinions, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like everybody should be open and affirming. My hot take for the world. But it's okay to have places that are, it's okay if not every church feels 100% safe for you. Not every church is going to, and it's okay to walk into spaces with a guarded heart. And I don't know, it's okay to, I don't know, that's how I feel. It's okay to sometimes be like, okay, this place is good and I can worship here for a Sunday, or I can talk to folks here and I can make connections with folks here, but this place is not 100% safe for me. It can't be my home church, and that's okay.
Right.
It's, I don't know. But it can be really scary, and it can be very vulnerable to find a church and to find a church to make your home. And I would say do it, but also know when a place is not worth staying at.
Right.
That's really the thing is put yourself out there, but also know that there will be places that are not for you at this moment, and that's okay.
What do you think are, I don't know if this is a good question or not, but signs that it is or is not the space that you need to be in?
Yeah. I think for me, like with the church that I call home now, it was a very green flag to me to like talk to the pastor's like wife, talk to some other folks who were working at the church, and be able to have very clear conversations about like, yes, from a leadership standpoint, we like love and support queer folks, and we think that they should be fully included in the church. And my church, like, it's not like the Wesley that it like has big old gay flags up everywhere, which I love about the Wesley, but it's not that kind of church. But if you ask the pastor directly, like, he'll tell you what he thinks about like LGBTQ inclusion in the church. And it's also the kind of place where they say everyone is welcome and they mean it. And I think that is reflected in the actions of the congregation, because there are not a whole lot of like openly queer people in my church. I'm trying to think of, I don't know, I think I might be the most openly queer person there. But I still feel very safe there because everybody treats me like I belong there. Like there are folks who are very different from me, lead very different lives from me, like who are just have from day one just been very nice to me and have welcomed me with open arms and have not like have just treated me like any other person would be treated. One of the first friends that I made at my church is like, her name is Wendy. She's like an older woman who just did not strike me as like, I don't know, didn't strike me immediately as the kind of person who would want to be my friend, but was immediately so nice to me. And like, we had a good conversation. And then the next week at church, she like saw me come in and she's like, oh, come sit by me, come sit by me. And we got to know each other. And like, I don't know, I think that it, when you don't feel like you're being treated differently because you are visibly queer, that's a good sign. Like it's good when people go out of their way to like help make you feel accommodated, but also like if the congregation just welcomes you like they would welcome anyone, that's a great sign. You know, I think it's the kind of thing where if the church needs to mean what it says, and if they say that they're open to anyone, they have to be open to anyone. There's a there's a caveat at my church where it's like everyone is welcome, but you're not allowed to be a jerk. And that's one of the things that I think is a really good kind of safety measure for queer folks as well, because like if they say anyone is welcome, that means you're welcome, but also like the homophobe down the street is also welcome technically, but also the caveat of like we're not going to allow or tolerate like blatant homophobia. We're not going to tolerate like treating people differently because of who they are. You're not allowed to be a jerk to people. Like you're not allowed to like, I think that is the kind of thing that like a church that says that they're open to everyone and also is like, you're not allowed to like we're not just going to be okay with you being a bigot to people.
Yeah.
I think that is really important too. Yeah.
What do you think are red flags that a church is saying that they're welcoming, but then they're not actually backing that up?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tricky one. I feel like I've been really lucky in that I've had some really good experiences with LGBTQ affirming churches.
Okay.
Nice. I don't know. I don't know. It's really hard because I also try to give any church that is trying the benefit of the doubt, because I know that for a lot of people it's hard to even just try, or it means a lot to even try to be open and affirming. And so I try to give grace.
Right.
But
that's fair.
I don't know. I think I don't like the kind of thing where you go to a church that is open and affirming and then they like make a big deal out of the fact that you're gay. Or they're like, oh, and today we have a gay person here. Have
you experienced that?
I mean, not a whole lot.
Or is it just something?
But it's just a thing that I have heard of like people who like are kind of like make that everything that they see about you when you go to that church.
Okay.
And that never feels good.
No.
Or like, also it's hard, I think, when it's like, oh, we're open and affirming, but the church is still like really cliquey, and like if you don't worship the same way that we do, if you don't like the same songs as we do, or that kind of thing, like you're not. I think if it says that it's open and affirming but doesn't hold space socially even for like queer cultural like meaning in any way, I think that would be really hard for me. It's like, oh, we love queer people, but only if you don't engage with any like meaningful parts of queer culture. It's like, we love queer people, but if you do drag, I don't know about you,
Right.
Which is definitely a thing people have experienced that I think it's really hard if there's any sort of, we love queer people, but,
Right.
That's definitely, I think I have had that sentiment that I've talked to with some Christians of like, oh, I mean, I'm fine with gay people as long as they're like, they're not sinful, as long as, they're not, going out to gay bars or drag bars, or as long as they're, not doing those things that I assume that gay people do. Um, I don't know. I think sometimes people are like, well, I'm okay with you if you're gay as long as you still fit into what I consider to be the norm or
Right.
normal. And I just don't think that actually aligns with the gospel at all,
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay if you're different than me as long as you still think and act like me. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
It just doesn't,
Yeah.
So I think that would be a red flag for me. I think also personally for me, and there's a lot of room for nuance in this, because there's a lot of politics involved in denominational rules and things like that. But for me, it would be really hard, and I would personally not want to go to a church that I think it would be really hard for me to go to a church where I knew I wouldn't be able to get married there. Like if that denomination doesn't support gay marriages, or if they don't support gay folks in the clergy, or that kind of thing, that would be really hard for me. And this is a little hypocritical of me because I think I fell in love with the United Methodist Church um, before the stuff was passed that officially allowed like queer folks to be in the clergy. But I also was like, I will not I will not actually start the path toward ordination until queer folks are safe to be in the clergy. That was something I decided. I was like, I know that I want to be ordained. If the UMC doesn't like pull themselves together and make it safe for me to do that, I will go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And also, like, I grew up kind of in a denomination that still doesn't allow for gay marriage, and I have worked at and have kind of still continue to work at a summer camp connected to that denomination. So it's weird because I have like affiliated with folks or with like churches and like places that haven't officially like at a like not operational level, at like a like denominational level, don't allow for gay marriage and don't allow for queer clergy. But I think for me it was I only felt safe to do that because I knew that there were folks in power at the local level who had my back. Like when I fell in love with the UMC, I knew queer clergy.
Yeah.
Multiple of them. And I only really feel safe still working at the camp that I work at because the executive director of the camp has gone to bat for me before. Because I was working there and I was openly using they them pronouns, and there was a parent who was upset about that, who accused me of promoting the transgender lifestyle.
Wow.
Which is that? What is that?
It's not a thing.
And the executive director went to bat for me. He was like, "Hey, Mars has been coming to this camp since they were little. We trust them around children, and they're good at their job."
We love that.
But even then, like, it's hard for me to be there sometimes, and it still does hurt sometimes. And I would say that my advice would be, if you're going to be in spaces where at the denominational level there is not that protection for you, you have to go in knowing that, and I wouldn't recommend it if you don't feel safe other places.
Yeah.
Or if you don't have any church space where you feel fully safe. Because I have been out for a long time now. not a long, like 6 years. I don't know. I've been out for a while now in church spaces, and I feel very, very solid in my identity as both a queer person and as a Christian. And I feel solid that those identities are intertwined and that they are both true at the same time. I feel very, very solid in that. And I don't feel like that is easily shaken. And that is why I'm able to safely be in spaces where the building blocks around me, the structure around me doesn't believe that. I am able to do that because I feel very confident in myself and I feel very solid in myself. I would not have recommended that to baby 18-year-old Mars, who was not that steady,
right,
and not that safe feeling. If I didn't have all of the other community around me and the like queer history and the just like the community of people who know and love me and affirm who I am as a queer Christian, I wouldn't feel safe doing what I do, and I wouldn't recommend it for people who don't have that. So it's the kind of thing where it's
right.
like, if you're going into Christian spaces that do not have that systematic protection for you, it's going to be a different experience, and you need to go in knowing that.
Yeah.
You know, because I think that there is still a lot of beauty to be found in those places. For me, I think it's been, I mean, the summer camp that I've worked at, I've met a lot of queer kids that way. Even like kids who didn't even really know that they were queer yet, but I'm like, I can tell that you see something in me that you see in yourself as well, and we're making a connection because of that. And I think that I've been able to do really good work there. I mean, I love working with kids. I love that camp, and I wouldn't be able to do that work if I didn't go into that space where there wasn't that structural protection for me. But I have to go in knowing the risks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to add in my bit of advice.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would recommend not going to a church. See, even if it's United Methodist, which has officially, and done that harmful language against
Mm-hmm.
LGBT marriage and gay marriage and gay ordination.
Mm-hmm.
Even within the United Methodist Church, I would not recommend churches that don't make a clear statement regarding LGBT rights.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's not to say that those are, again, not bad churches, not bad people. But if you're a queer person, I don't recommend those spaces because, they just might not be there yet. Mm-hmm. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Not everyone is at the level we would like them to be, unfortunately, but,
Yeah.
I
would say that especially if you are just beginning on your church journey as a queer person. Absolutely. Or as an out queer person. Yeah. I think, once you feel more stable, like it's a different story, kind of what I was saying before. Like, mm-hmm. You can go into those spaces and even maybe you can help be that change or help other people learn and change. But not everyone is going to be there, and that's okay, or ever be there, and that's okay. Right. But yeah, I think especially if you are new or if you have a lot of church hurt to unpack or that kind of thing, guard your heart. Don't go somewhere where you're not certain that you're going to be safe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you have any advice generally for finding community, either within the church or outside of the church? Yeah. Even I know that you're pretty involved in the local drag scene, for instance.
Mm-hmm. I'm a little bit less involved now than I was, but I definitely am still involved. I also have other things that I'm involved in. Like I have a dance class that I do, and there's there's a lot going on. But I think for me, my biggest piece of advice is to just follow your joy.
Love that.
Follow the things that get you excited and that make you feel happy. And then just look for other people who are like kindred spirits, for other people that you feel like you can be yourself around. Because like it's all good and well to like, I don't know, it's great to be around people who have very different opinions from you or very different lifestyles from you, but like if you find someone who you feel like, I'm like, oh, I feel like this person and I have similar like values, or I feel like we get along and I feel like I can really be myself around them. That's what's important, is finding those people that you feel like you can be yourself around.
Yeah.
But then just that, and then like finding joy. I don't know, I go to a meditative dance class, which I didn't even think was a thing, but then I found it and I was like, oh, this is incredible and I love it. And so I do that. Or then there's a friend of mine with someone else co-started it began as just a clown picnic, which was just, hey, let's all dress up like clowns and go have a silly little picnic on the Denton Square.
That's amazing.
And then like a lot of people showed up to the Denton Clown Picnic, like a lot. And so now it's like a recurring thing.
I love that.
So like the Denton Clowns are like a recurring thing, and it's not really focused on like actual like learning clown skills or anything. It's mostly just like hanging out together, dressing up silly, and just having fun. There's always crafts and like some snacks involved. It's great. It's great. But like that's something that I found a lot of joy in, and I'm like, even if the things that bring you joy are weird to other people, like if they spark joy for you, they spark joy for you, and you should follow them. And like be prepared for that joy to come from unexpected places. Like I did not expect to be, like maybe once a month dressing up like a clown, silly style, and going and hanging out and making friendship bracelets, but brings me deep joy. And so I go and do it. But really just like finding people that you can be your authentic self around and finding joy are the main things that I would say. And don't be afraid to just put yourself out there. It's okay to go to events where you know no one. It's okay.
It's true.
Go and do it and be nice to people. And then people will be nice back and you'll be friends and it'll be great. It's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's also okay if you don't have a million friends. Like it's okay if you only have a few close friends. I don't know, at least for me, because I'm an introvert, like I'm like, I don't need a million billion friends. I need a few friends who I feel very close to, and then I can have kind of like more friends that I only see like sometimes, and that's okay. But like it's okay if you don't have a lot of friends. Like that's really normal, especially when you're like graduating and getting out into the real world and you're like, oh, all of my previous social structure is gone. It's okay and really normal, and it's fine to just have a few friends that you like. That's great.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any closing words of advice, encouragement, etc.?
Yeah.
For young people, young adults watching.
Yeah. Get off your phone all the time. That's one of my hot takes, is don't be on your phone all the time. It's bad for you. And I do realize I sound kind of like an old person being like, you screenagers, but I mean it. Like I don't know, when I work at camp over the summer, I'm often not on my phone for more than like I will, there will be days during the week, especially when I'm working with kids a lot, where I'm on my phone for like 20 minutes right before I go to bed to play my little Sudoku, and then I go to bed. And that's all the phone I have all day. Because I like have to be off my phone for like camp reasons. But like even on the weekends I try to not be on my phone that much. And when I'm in my day-to-day life outside of camp, I have been really working on not being on my phone as much. And it's been good for me. I'm like reading books more. Yeah. And like actually being able to listen to podcasts and not do other things while I do the podcast more. And it like hasn't fixed every problem, but like I'm on my phone less and I'm doing other things more. And it's really good. So yeah, you don't have to be on your phone all of the time to know every single thing that's happening on the internet. You really don't. It's actually okay to not know every single thing that's happening on the internet right now. Not to say don't be informed about world events. But if you can try, even in small ways, to be on your phone less, I would say try to do that because it's bad.
I'd like to add on to what you're saying, because I agree. My advice for it, though, because I've struggled a lot with my screen time usage and like feeling a lot of shame. I've done a lot of like, oh, my screen time is really high and going into a shame spiral about it. Don't do that. That does not do anything.
Yeah, shame doesn't help.
No. What actually does help is find things to add in. To add in things that are not screen. Like I got into audiobooks lately.
Nice.
Yeah, audiobooks, podcasts. And you can even do like, if you need to start with like doing a silly little phone game while listening to a podcast at first,
do it.
That is still improvement over like scrolling TikTok or whatever.
Yeah. Because the way that phones work, the way that social media works, it overloads our brains, and then all of our dopamine receptors are fried and weird, and it messes with our brains. Our brains are not built for this, and it's bad for us. So it's really hard to stop being on your phone so much, but it is worth trying.
Also try to find ways to like connect with a real person every day.
Yes.
I find that helps a lot.
I have another thing. My other piece of advice that's been really good for me is, especially when you're like right out of college, you don't have to be friends with people who are just your age. Be friends with people who are different ages than you. It's so good. I have a friend and mentor who's like 60. I met her through, she worked with me at camp this summer. And then we still we don't text all the time, but like we try to we'll do a Google Meet. That's how you can tell that she's 60. I love her. So God bless. But we'll do like a Google Meet, me and Shelly, once a month, and we'll just talk for an hour. And it's so nice. It's so, and I have a coworker that I've made friends with who's like, I don't know, 50 probably. And it's nice to, because I think, I don't know if you feel this, but for me, it's really easy to fall into I'm getting old, I'm running out of time, because you're no longer in school and you're like, I don't have time, I have to go and do everything right now, I'm getting old. And then you make friends with someone who's much older than you, and you first of all are like, oh, okay, this person doesn't even have it together. They still struggle with some of these adult things. So it's okay if I do. It's okay. You're never going to have your life perfectly together, and that's okay. Even though people older than you still don't always know what they're doing and don't do it perfectly, and that's okay. And also, you have a lot more time than you think you do. And you're not going to magically stop being able to do fun things or meet new people when you turn 25. You don't wrinkle up and stop being able to change. You can keep changing and growing no matter what age you're at. And having friends who are older than you helps that, I think. Yeah. Cool.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
Thank you for.
We had to.
Well,
that's for the thumbnail.
That's for the thumbnail.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you for talking to me. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, this was really great.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Have a nice day, you watching this.
Love you. Take care of yourself.
Mwah! Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can cut that, I'm sorry.